Welcome back. There is a growing reality across many parts of Nigeria that can no longer be ignored. From rural villages to major highways, from farming communities to urban neighborhoods, more and more citizens are taking security into their own hands. Community vigilantes, local hunters, forest guards, youth patrol groups, and neighborhood security teams are becoming the first line of defense against criminals. The question many Nigerians are now asking is simple. Why are ordinary people increasingly relying on themselves rather than waiting for official security agencies to protect them? This is not a criticism of every police officer or security operative serving the country. Many officers continue to risk their lives daily in difficult conditions. However, the reality on the ground has created a trust gap between communities and the institutions responsible for their safety. When people repeatedly experience attacks, kidnappings, robberies, and violent crimes without timely intervention, confidence naturally begins to erode. Over time, citizens start believing that survival depends more on local action than on waiting for outside help. Recent events across the country have strengthened this perception. In several communities, kidnappers have abducted victims only for local youths. Vigilantes, hunters, and residents to organize search efforts that eventually led to their rescues. In some cases, community members armed with nothing more than local knowledge, courage, and determination have entered forests and difficult terrain to track criminal groups. These stories spread quickly and reinforce the belief that communities must become active participants in their own security rather than passive observers waiting for assistance. One major factor driving this shift is response time. Criminal attacks often happen within minutes, but security forces may take hours to arrive, especially in remote locations. Residents living in vulnerable areas know that when danger strikes, immediate action can mean the difference between life and death. As a result, communities are increasingly organizing local security structures designed to provide rapid responses while official agencies are still mobilizing. Whether this approach is sustainable is another debate. But many communities see it as a necessity rather than a choice. Another reason for declining trust is the persistence of insecurity despite years of military operations, police deployment, and government assurances. Nigerians have heard promises that criminal networks are being dismantled, yet reports of kidnappings, attacks on villages, highway abductions, and violent crimes continue to emerge. For ordinary citizens, the measure of success is simple. They want to see safer roads, safer schools, safer farms, and safer community. When these outcomes remain elusive, public confidence suffers regardless of official statistics or security briefings. Economic hardship has also complicated the situation. Many communities feel abandoned, not only in terms of security, but also in terms of development. Poor roads, weak communication infrastructure, inadequate healthcare facilities, and limited government presence create environments where criminal groups can operate more easily. Citizens often argue that security cannot be separated from governance. When communities feel neglected, they become more vulnerable and more likely to rely on informal systems of protection. The rise of vigilante groups reflects both resilience and frustration. On one hand, it demonstrates the determination of communities to defend themselves and protect their families. On the other hand, it reveals a lack of confidence in existing institutions. While some vigilante groups have played positive roles in intelligence gathering and crime prevention, there are also concerns about accountability, training, and the risks of abuse. Security experts frequently warn that while community participation is valuable, it must operate within legal frameworks to avoid creating new problems while trying to solve existing ones. Trust is not built through speeches alone. It is built through consistent results. When citizens see criminals arrested, prosecuted, and punished, confidence grows. When kidnapped victims are rescued quickly, trust increases. When communities receive regular police patrols and visible security presence, people feel reassured. Conversely, when attacks occur repeatedly without consequences for perpetrators, skepticism becomes stronger. The challenge facing Nigeria is therefore not defeating criminals, but also rebuilding public confidence in the institutions responsible for public safety. Many observers believe that intelligence sharing between communities and security agencies offer one pathway forward. Local residents often possess valuable information about suspicious movements, unfamiliar individuals, and potential threats. When relationships between communities and security agencies are strong, this information can help prevent attacks before they occur. Unfortunately, mistrust can discourage cooperation. Citizens may hesitate to share information if they believe it will not be acted upon, or if they fear retaliation from criminal groups. The conversation about state police has also gained momentum because of these challenges. Supporters argue that localized policing could improve response times and increase accountability. Critics warn about potential political abuse and uneven standards across different states. Regardless of where one stands on the debate, the growing demand for alternative security structures reflects public concerns about the effectiveness of current arrangements. At its core, this issue is about confidence. Security is not only about weapons, vehicles, or personnel. It is also about trust. Citizens must believe that when danger comes, the institutions of the state will stand with them. Without that belief, communities naturally begin searching for other ways to protect themselves. The rise of community-based security initiatives is therefore not merely a security story. It is a reflection of how ordinary Nigerians perceive the state's ability to fulfill one of its most fundamental responsibilities. As Nigeria continues to confront insecurity, the challenge is not only to defeat criminal networks, but also to restore faith in public institutions. Communities should not have to choose between relying on the state and relying on themselves. The ideal situation is one where both work together as partners. Until that happens, many Nigerians will continue to see community vigilance not as an option, but as a necessity for survival. What do you think? Have communities been forced to become their own first line of defense? Or can trust in official security agencies still be rebuilt? Share your thoughts in the comments section. If you enjoy this analysis, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more in-depth discussions on the issues shaping Nigeria today. I am Cassie Tony, and many thanks for watching.